Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Our current session focuses on beyond approaches and methods. I hope and expect by the end of this session, you would have some conceptual clarity beyond approaches and methods. Well, my dear students, what alternative ways to the study of teaching are available outside of the framework of brand-named approaches and methods? This is one huge question that the linguists, researchers, educationists, and teachers have faced during the recent times. We believe that because approaches and methods have played a central role in the development of our profession, that is the profession of teaching, it will continue to be useful for teachers and students to become familiar with the major teaching approaches and methods as they are proposed for the teaching and learning of any second language or foreign language. Well, mainstream approaches and methods draw on a large amount of collective experience and practice from which much can be learned. So it is like a collective or a shared teaching experience or learning experience of the teachers and learners of foreign language or second language. Approaches and methods can therefore be usefully studied and selectively mastered for various reasons, which include, number one, to learn how to use different approaches and methods and understand when or in which context or in which situation they might be useful. And number two, to understand some of the issues and the controversies that characterize the history of language teaching. Number three, to participate in language learning experiences based on different approaches and based on different methods as a basis for the reflection and for the comparison that the teachers and learners can make between different approaches or methods. And fourthly, to be aware of the rich set of activity resources that are available to the imaginative teacher. So it is like a collective fund of information, a collective fund of knowledge, a collective fund of resources or of materials that any of the teachers or learners can use. Fifthly, to appreciate how theory and practice can be linked from a variety of different perspectives. So, to link a method to its theoretical underpinnings or to see how a method has been addressed by certain theories or certain principles that are operating behind it. However, teachers and teachers in training, that is the new teachers, they need to be conscious about certain things. Number one, they need to be able to use approaches and methods not with rigidity but with flexibility and in a creative way based on their own judgment and experience. Secondly, the experienced teachers and the new teachers, especially the teachers in training, should be encouraged to transform and adapt these methods, to modify these methods to suit their own needs. Thirdly, training is required in the techniques and procedures of a specific method. So, an approach is available, a method based on that approach or theory is available. The principles of that method are available, but the techniques that are to be used in that method, a new teacher needs some training in that. So for the novice teachers, for the teachers who enter into this profession, it is required so that it provides them confidence to face the learners. And this training also provides techniques and strategies for presenting the lessons. In the early stages of teaching, it is largely a matter of applying procedures and techniques developed by the others. However, later on, an approach or a predetermined method with its associated activities, principles, and techniques may be only a starting point, and the teacher can modify. And when there is a shift from an inexperienced novice teacher to an experienced teacher, during this process, the teacher also learns how to create his or her own activities. As the teachers gain experience, thus, they will begin to develop an individual approach or a personal method of teaching. They would have their own ways of teaching, and these ways would draw on an established approach or method, but they would also have some unique aspects that would reflect the beliefs, values, principles and experiences of that particular teacher. Now, this may not lead to the abandonment of method or approach that the teacher may start using at the outset, but it will lead to a modification of this method as the teacher adds, modifies, adjusts or readjusts the approach or the method or the techniques that are to be used in the context of the reality of the classroom where he or she is teaching.